There we go. Stand here, my friend, third, and I'm coming in with some all. All right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead. You got a streamer, son? We're gonna go ahead and stand, open up, face the roof. Go ahead and stand, face the roof, and then open up. That's what we're gonna do.
Our Father, which art in heaven.
Our Father, which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth.
Thy will be done in earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Mighty One of Jacob.
The Mighty One of Jacob.
The King of Kings.
King of Kings.
And Lord of Lords.
And Lord of Lords.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Today's scripture reading comes from Psalms 96, verses 1 through 13. Oh, sing unto the Lord a new song. Sing unto the Lord all the earth. Sing unto the Lord, bless his name. Show forth his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all the people. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods, for all the gods of the nations are idols. But the Lord made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Give unto the Lord, O ye kindreds of the people. Give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. O worship the Lord in beauty and holiness. Fear before him all the earth. Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth. The world also shall. Lord, we'll have a quick selection. We'll have a song.
Jesus said, here I stand, won't you please let me in? And he said, I will tomorrow. Jesus said, I am he who supplies all your needs. And he said, I know, but tomorrow, I'll give my life tomorrow. I thought about today, but it's so much easier to say tomorrow. Who promised you tomorrow? Better choose the Lord today, for tomorrow very well might be too late. Jesus says, here I stand, won't you please take my hand? And he said, I will tomorrow. Jesus said, I am he who supplies all your needs. And he said, I know what tomorrow, I'll live
Lord, in Jesus' name. As always, it is quite a pleasure to stand before you. Hope y'all had a productive week. We'll go ahead and get into the Word of God today. Before we get into the actual lesson, right? Just wanted to show y'all something. Turn y'all Bibles to Job chapter 38. Uh-oh, I think I cut it off. All right. Job chapter 38. So, I woke up today, walked outside, and we had inches. I ain't seen inches here. I guess we'd be quick to catch the snow. I don't really see that much snow here, like you would think, considering that we do live up north. I've definitely seen more snow in other places, but I just want to show y'all something about what the Lord said about the snow in Job chapter 38, right? So, pick it up at verse, Pick it up at 16. Just want to show y'all something here. Before we get into our lesson, this ain't got nothing to do, it kind of does have something to do with the lesson, to be honest with you, but it don't have a whole lot to do with it. But go ahead. Job 38 and start at 16.
Hast thou entered into the springs of the sea?
Uh-huh.
Or hast thou walked in the search of the depth?
So if anybody knows anything about what's happening in the book of Job, Job is had got jammed up really by the Lord. A lot of people think Satan did it, but if you go to the beginning of the book of Job, it says, have you considered my servant Job? And then Satan's response to Job, to God is, I can't touch him. You got a hedge of protection around him. It's like, do something about that and I'll mess with him. You know what I mean? So what you find out is Job really was a perfect, upright man. But, perfection is only mediocrity to God. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make you God being perfect in this life. It's what you strive for. Don't get it twisted. So, Job started justifying himself to his friends a little bit in their conversation. So all of a sudden, the Lord come and he started chopping it up, right? So now he questioning Job, just trying to let Job know how small he is, to humble Job. So he like, look, he said, has you entered into the springs of the sea, or have you searched the depth of it? Verse 17.
Have the gates of death been opened unto thee?
Right, he like, can you tell me anything what happened when people die? Nobody can. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. Like, you only know of death from what the Bible is telling you. But what I'm saying is nobody's ever went to a place of the dead and came back like whoa. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what it is, anything like that. This is what the Lord is saying to Job. Go ahead.
Or hast thou seen the doors of the shadow of death?
Uh-huh.
Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Or declare if thou knowest it all.
Right, he was like, man, you don't even know the breadth of the earth. You don't know nothing, Job. Declare. But go ahead, keep reading.
Where is the way where the light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof?
Go ahead.
That thou shouldest take it to bound thereof. And that thou shouldest know the paths to the house thereof.
Go ahead.
Knowest thou it because thou wast then born? Or because the number of thy days is great?
Now check verse 22. This is why we're here. Verse 22 and 23. Check this out. Go ahead.
Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow?
Uh-huh.
Or hast thou seen the treasures of hell?
Right, so he was like, have you entered into the treasures of the snow? Or have you even seen the treasures of the hell, which he got reserved for what?
Which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war.
Yeah, so one thing I learned, though, is when the Lord brings in, like, snow, when he brings in hell, it's going to be a problem for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when we look amongst ourselves today, it's like, the snow hit, and we're 50% down. You know what I mean? And it's okay. I'm not mad at anybody, but I'm just saying, like the Lord know what he be doing, though. Because it ain't just us that's 50% down. The schools is down. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, dang, y'all act like it don't snow every year. The weather, trust me, everybody at home today. I would imagine that the crime rate, as far as like stealing cars and breaking into houses and robbing stores, I would imagine today that's gonna be down too. Yeah, that's my cousin. I'm from Detroit, and my cousin, she would make a statement to me. We the same age, we grew up together, and she'd say, "I hate when the summer comes." I'm like, "Why?" She said, "Because the Negroes start coming out." You know what I'm saying? That snow. Hey, that knows how to keep us indoors. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought I would share that with y'all, that the Lord said that he keep that stuff on reserve. He's like, verse 22, hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow? Or hast thou seen the treasures of hell, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war? So I'm just saying, like, just imagine, for real now, imagine World War II, right? And it's like February 2nd, You know what I'm saying? They get up that morning, they preparing to fight. You know, it's 1941 or whatever, 42. They over there in France, and it's a snowstorm out. Stop that whole day, don't it? I mean, I'm just saying how the Lord you just have a grand plan, like, yeah, we're going to go do this, we're going to do that. The Lord said, no, not today. You know what I mean? So it's just something I just thought I would share with everybody. But at any rate, the title of today's lesson is End Time Prophecy, Don't Get Left Behind. Now, where does that come from? They don't get left behind. They got a whole Left Behind series out there. And it's really popular. It's been around since I've been in the Word, definitely. And what the series is about, really, it's about the coming of the Lord. Their series is about the rapture, and then, you know, the Great Tribulation. Now, what I'm going to show y'all is today, Armageddon and the wars of the worlds. And the reason is the wars of the worlds, Armageddon and all that, is all those really movie titles, believe it or not. There's a movie called Armageddon, there's a movie called World of the World, there's a series called Left Behind. But at the end of the day, we're going to take it all, we're going to show you the reality of what Armageddon is. We're going to show you what are the war of the worlds, like World War III. You know, they were saying, is this going to be a World War III? That's going to be the last of all the world. Well, they right. But in reality, they wrong. Because what we're going to learn today is we're going to have a World War III, we're going to have a World War IV, we're going to have a World War V. We're going to see all of that today. It's going to be, before it's all said and done, for mankind, there still remains great wars. Because the reality is, mankind going to have great wars until mankind is done with. But the ultimate war is going to be the Lord, and he's going to be the ultimate warrior. He's going to come in and discombobulate like he did down in Egypt. I mean, we laugh at the story, we look at it like, you idiot, but like, look how bad he got destroyed. Like, the Lord opened up the sea, right? And then y'all thought y'all was smart enough to chase after them. Like, I mean, for real, if I was an Egyptian, I would have been like, I'm gonna wait to see what happens. I'm gonna stay up here and watch a couple of these horses or something. I'm not going down there. Like, what's holding that water back again? And how high is that? Because I can't swim. Well, I can, but that's what I'm gonna be acting like. I can't swim. I ain't trying. Like, that was just dumb, but the Lord showed the whole world I would destroy this nation. And that's what the Lord is doing in the end. When it's all said and done, we're gonna learn it's not a secret rapture taking place. The Lord does not need to take man off the earth and lift him up into the heavens somewhere while he bring bloodshed down here. Why he can't protect you? He protected Israel when the death angel ran through there. Why he got to take you somewhere? Is he weak like that? The God of this world is weak, man. Because he got everything he got to do, man. He got to whiff you off somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Or he got to make you speak in tongues. You know what I'm saying? Like that, why you can't speak English? Why I can't get the message in English? Why I got to speak it? That's a weak God, man. That's what that is. And that ain't our God. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this lesson started. We're going to take our time with it. Hopefully we learn something. We're going to start in Matthew chapter 24. This is pretty much your chapter, and when you want to deal with the end time, this is one of the chapters that you really want to touch. And we're going to pick this up, and we're going to start at verse 3. And when you get there, my brother, go ahead and read.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at the sign of Jesus coming and the end of the world. Because contrary to what popular belief is, you know, people used to say, man, the Lord can come back any day. It was a saying. They say the Lord would come back within the next 7 days. Right, he ain't coming back in those 7 days. I can guarantee you that. I'll bet everybody's sold on that. He is not coming back. Now, he might come back for you, meaning he might take your breath from you. But as far as him coming back to the earth, there will not be a rapture that pop off and say, as a matter of fact, if there was to be a rapture where the Lord grabbed people from the earth, not only would we be able to read it, but it would have to be after they start sacrificing over there. So the moral of the story is, we ain't got nothing to worry about because they ain't even finished building no temple. They ain't sacrificed no animal. They ain't did nothing. The end ain't yet. But we're going to learn about it. So he said, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when should these things be, and what shall be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? They happen together. The sign of the Lord's coming and the end of the world, that's going to all be at the same time period. But go ahead. And Jesus answered and said unto them,
And what he say?
Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Nah, when it say that many gonna come in Jesus' name saying I am Christ, that works two ways. It's gonna be people that say they the Christ, and then it's gonna be people that's coming out here preaching Jesus is the Christ, but they still out here gonna be deceiving people. And what he's telling you is, he says, for many shall come in my name saying I am Christ and shall deceive many. Like, so the point is, we don't need to be the one in the deception. Jesus Christ ain't coming until we see these signs. We gonna see him come out the sky. We ain't gotta wait on Ben Amin or Yahweh Ben Yahweh or even Brother Bowie. You know what I'm saying? Or Stearns or nothing like. We ain't gotta look for no Messiah. Ain't no king rising up from amongst us. We might have some leaders that rise up from amongst us, but nobody that's king, nobody that lay down the rule and the law. So that means all our rule and law come from the Bible. Understand that. That's what governs us, not what my opinion is around here. All right? But go ahead, what verse?
Verse 6.
Uh-huh.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet.
So this was written, I don't know, 2,000 years ago, somewhere like that. He said there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. Yo, it has been wars like crazy since this was written. I mean, if you just really understand history, you know, wars be happening on top of wars. But no wars have been as big or have been on such a grand scale as the last few wars we done had. I don't mean the little scrimmages that take place in Kosovo or the little Scud missiles that was taking place in over there in Kuwait, in our lifetime. I ain't even talking about Vietnam. I'm talking about the world wars. When the world get together and battle. And they done battled in different places already. Mainly they battle in Europe. They done battled in Germany. They done battled in France. They done battled in Moscow. These is where the battles, all that stuff is where the battles take place. And there's a reason for that. Because them the rulers of the world. The Gentile is. Ain't no sense of us fighting for the world down in Africa. Africa, the winner get Africa. That's how, this is how the world works. The winner get Africa, the winner get America, they get Australia. We ain't gonna fight the fight there. We gonna fight the fight in Europe. So the last two major battles, World War I and World War II, was the European major powers. The European major powers. And then it was one person who, funny thing about it, always seemed to be the good guy, because the bad guy is the loser in Europe. Just understand that it's Europe versus Europe. The bad guy is the loser, and the guy that's always allied with the good guy be Russia. He be in it, but he always, like, for example, in World War II, Stalin didn't trust Hitler. Y'all gonna do the history on it? I'm talking about from the day Hitler hit the scene. They would have normally rocked out together. He was like, nah, like, go check your books. You know what I'm saying? Like Stalin, he looked at Hitler like he looked at Lenin, who came along before Stalin. And Lenin's name had been wiped out of the Russian history books. So I'm just saying, so they adversaries up there in Europe, but this is where the major wars have been taking place. But see, there's going to be a last war, but it ain't going to take place in Europe. Because at the end of the day, it ain't about Europe running the world. Somebody else going to come and take the world, but we're going to learn that. So at any rate, he says, and you should hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled. All these things must come to pass, but that ain't it though. Verse 15, we're going to jump.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand.
Now, we're not going to get a whole lot into this abomination of desolation. We will read another scripture on it, though. But it's the Antichrist. So one of the things that we got to look for before we see the coming of the Lord is the Antichrist. Like, we're going to be able to recognize, pinpoint, whatever, however you look at it, we're going to be able to call out some man and say, yo, you are the false prophet. You that one. You that one that when we done in today's lesson, we're going to see his blood in the lake of fire. He got other words that we use for him. We're going to call him the man of sin. But we're going to get there. Let me let you finish up 16 and 17. Go ahead.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Keep going.
Oh, no, that's good. My bad. So look, when you see this abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, and it ain't good but one holy place. It ain't Moscow. It ain't Paris, France. It ain't Great Britain. It ain't the Eastern Orthodox Church over there in Greece. You know, in the Greece land, ain't in Brazil, it sure ain't in America. Ain't nothing holy about this place from day one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from day one, ain't nothing holy about this place. It's like practically the epitome of evil, let me tell you. Because it's like they melted all the evil and dropped it in America or something. I mean, I'm just saying, but when you see him stand in the holy place, then he say, when you see this man stand in the holy place, you need to get the heck up out of Dodge. You need to go. Wherever you are, that's not where you need to end up being. Let's find out a little more. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. We'll find out a little more about this man that's sin, this abomination. He kick it off. He is what you're looking for when you start talking about the end time prophecies. You need to look for this man, and he's a religious man. Like, see, here's what you got to understand. The Bible in Matthew chapter 7 says, enter ye in at the straight gate. For wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, and many people going in thereat. He said, but narrow is the way that leads to life, and few be that find it. So what you're looking for when you start talking about the Antichrist, you're looking for a place or an establishment that consists of many. And the largest establishment on the planet of the earth is the Christian church. I don't mean the Roman Catholic Church. That's the head of the Christian church. But I mean the Christian church, the Baptist, the Methodist, the Episcopal, whatever, AME, I don't care, whatever names you want to name them, Anti-Baptist, I don't care what you call them. They all fall under the Christian banner. Now check this out. Why don't we fall under the Christian banner? Because we ain't them type of Christians. When you read the history books, we ain't them. We kept the Sabbath day. Them Christians changed the Sabbath day to Sunday during the days of Constantine. We not the Christians. When you go read the Bible, after 300 or something AD, we just ain't nothing. That's what y'all got to understand. We ain't the Christians. We ain't the church. We nothing. We don't exist. We're going to talk about that a little bit. The true church of God. That's why later on, he said he coming back to grab the bride out of her chamber. Like she been hiding. As a matter of fact, that's what this is all about. So at any rate, when you're looking for this man that's sin, this Antichrist, you're going to have to find him in the large vicinity. And let me tell you who the Antichrist is. For those that don't know, for those that are watching online for the first time, they never heard this, it's the Pope. And you're like, what you mean it's the Pope? Talking about the nice old man that be in Brazil? That nice old man, that guy. He's the Antichrist. What you thought the Antichrist? So y'all thought the Antichrist was supposed to be like Jay-Z or something, huh? Or maybe y'all thought it was supposed to be, Denzel Washington, some good-looking man, great voice or something. Or maybe you thought it was supposed to be Bill Gates. Like, oh yeah, Bill Gates is the Antichrist. Like, nah, we talking Antichrist. So that means we talking religion, y'all. Like that's what Bill Gates ain't talking religion. Bill Gates care less about religion. Bill Gates is his own guy. He don't need none of your religion. But we're gonna learn today that this dude here, he gonna tell you need religion. He gonna say he's the author, the boss in the religion. Let's read what Paul say about it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and we're gonna read verse 1 through 6. And when you get there, go ahead.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ.
So when we do the Bible, like when I say we do the Bible, when we study the Bible, when we learn the Bible, here's how we know we on the right recommended path. You dig what I'm saying? Like we're talking about, the title is End Time Prophecy. Don't get left behind, whatever. He say, now we beseech you, or we coming at you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering together unto him. So we're on the same subject. Go ahead, keep reading.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
What else?
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Matthew 24, and it said, it's going to be people coming up talking about they Christ or coming in Christ's name. Don't be deceived. So look, we can't let religion, just because somebody talking Jesus, don't mean nothing. Like my man Paul, everybody talking about heaven ain't going. I put my soul on it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not working like that. So don't get confused because somebody look like T.D. Jake. You know what I mean? Like that he can't be fake, because he can be. And Eddie Long can be wrong. All the little cute sayings that we got about him. But at the end of the day, like they sending people to hell with that garbage. That's what they doing. So at any rate, keep reading.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed.
Right, so go ahead.
The son of perdition.
Right, so we're going to see who this man is saying, and he's going to be revealed to the world. Going to see. Now, the world going to be running with him. We're going to see that. But it's going to be us. And we're going to be out here like, no, that dude there is evil. What you mean? Because everything he stands for is evil. Everything. And if you do the history on the popes, like if you just walk through their history, you'll see. They always, like the Spanish Inquisition, where y'all think that came from? That came from them. Man, bump all that. The execution of all the Edomites during World War II. Who you think that came from? I guess y'all think that Hitler and all these other kings can just do what they want to do, huh? It's a reason why when you look up presidents in the encyclopedia, guess what it tell you when they was born, right? Tell you where they from, right? Whether they was Democratic, Republican, Whig, the time that they ruled. Guess what I should tell you right there? Their religion. Why you think it talk about their religion? This the president. Who cares separation of church and state, right? But it ain't though. Because now you know that JFK, by the way, he was the Catholic president, that JFK has to answer to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Just like if it say Muslim, oh man, that's going to be a real problem. Because you telling me in God we trust as a country, but at the end of the day, you saying that you the president and you answer to Allah? That's a conflict of interest. So that's why you see that there, because at the end of the day, the churches run the states. Always have been. Because salvation lasts a whole lot longer than the United States of America or any country. You understand? Or your prison term, like the Spanish Inquisition when they was locking people up and killing people. Like, he was killing you in this life, and according to his doctrine, he was killing you in the next too. And we talking about the church was. So again, once you do the history on the Pope, it ain't really no question if he an antichrist or not. But again, let no man, verse 3, deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Go ahead.
Who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called God.
Yes.
Or that is worshipped.
Right.
So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So he gonna sit in the temple of God. Well, understand, brothers and sisters, God have never had a temple on earth but in one location, and that's in Jerusalem. As a matter of fact, when we opened up our lesson today in Matthew 24, it was talking about, they was looking at the temple. What temple? The same temple we talking about here. The temple, it's funny. Why we live here in Philadelphia. If you Google the temple, just, from here, because, your phones or whatever got the locator, so you would assume that it might show you something here. Man, I can guarantee you it's probably going to take you all the way back over there to Jerusalem. What for? Because that's the temple that matter. On this whole, don't nobody care about the Taj Mahal or no other temples that exist on the planet. Y'all can't even, they got temples all over the world. India and Brazil, stuff like that. But don't nobody care about that one, just the one that's in Jerusalem. Because that's the Holy Land. That's where my man going to try to set up, take over. So he not going, when they say the temple of God, they ain't going to build it and say this is God's temple. God ain't set up, God's temple was destroyed by the Babylonians. But God's temple was destroyed by the Romans. Now, they'll build one in the latter day as we approach it. And they're going to set it up in the same location. When I say same location, same city, they ain't going to get the exact ground, but we understand why. Because the Lord like, no, you can't have my ground like that. That's my ground. That ground go all the way back to Abraham and them. See, a lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's great that the Muslims protect that ground, and they do. You can't even get a whole lot of camera in there. All y'all do is go YouTube a video of the Dome of the Rock and see how much you see in there. And I guarantee you, when you watching the video, guess what else you're going to see? The police. And you're going to see them talking to whoever that's videoing, and you're going to see his search stop, where he gets stopped, and then you're going to see the edit job where they picked it back up, because we can't go in there with the camera because they protecting that spot. Because the reality is the Lord is protecting that spot. And we're going to learn today that the Lord can call anybody his servants, as long as you're doing the service of God. Anybody can be his servant. And so with that being said, the Muslims over there serving God right now. These Muslims, as much as they look, that ain't the right religion. But they serve God today more than the Christian church does. Figure that one out. They protecting Jerusalem. Just think if there's no Muslims. Man, them folks would have been there. Man, them folks would have went crazy. Somebody had to put a boundary to their limitations of what they're doing. Otherwise, the whole world would have been what they on, because that's what they was pushing for. But at any rate, that's a whole nother type of lesson. But what verse are we at?
Verse 5.
Go ahead.
Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
Right, he will be revealed in his time. Let's run it back to Matthew now. Back to Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. So we was reading and we stopped at like 16. We saw the abomination of desolation. You know what I'm saying? And it told us, like, yo, flee. That's what we saw, verse 16 and 17. Then it tell you in verse 19, while you fleeing, woe if you're going to be giving suck in those days. So, like, if you pregnant, or you got a baby, you got a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, and, you know, a lot of times because of the linguistic right there, it make it seem like woe unto you because you giving suck, like it could be something. Nah, you got a baby to worry about. Just that simple. If we about to go to the Great Tribulation, look, I got little kids. Man, if I got to go to the Great Tribulation, at least I can snatch both arms and run. Straight up. If they big enough that they can hold that, like, let's go and move. You can't do no baby like that. You got a baby that's giving suck, you got a 2-hand give baby with care. You can't just toss the baby into the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? You can't do none of that weird stuff that we might do even with a toddler, which could be dangerous for a toddler. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying, this is so real that when Jesus was telling the story, he was like, look, y'all need to make sure y'all ain't got giving suck in those days. Or not even make sure. He just said in verse 19, woe unto them that are with child and to them that give suck in those days. But what else he say? Verse 20. We'll start from 20 before and get down into it.
Pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
Right, now look, 2 things. Number 1, winter time. Y'all see how rough it is? Like right now. Like if you go look, I guarantee you flights got canceled today. So if you was trying to get, and it's not because they got canceled because Delta wanted to cancel. Delta don't want to cancel nothing. It's canceled because when you hit that sky, it's gonna be a problem. When you try to land, it's gonna be a problem. So God canceled these flights. So what I'm saying is the Lord is saying, hey, look, pray that your flight don't be in the winter. So if that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to make your escape, it don't need to be in the winter, because how you going to pop up in Jerusalem in the middle of the winter? That's going to be rough action. And he we going to know when and how. That's going to all come as we approach the day. You know what I'm saying? But as we get in there, he's saying, look, pray that your flight don't be in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. Right, why is that? Because Jerusalem shut down on Saturday. And that's where you ultimately headed. When it's all said and done, like if you was trying to get to the wilderness, the place of safety, during the Great Tribulation, what city are you going to? What airport you flying into? They ain't got no wilderness airport out there. You know what I'm saying? You flying into Jerusalem or whatever, but what if it's the Sabbath? Then Jerusalem shut down on the Sabbath. What you finna do? So he's just giving you a warning, a heads up. Don't operate like that. But go ahead, verse 21.
For then shall be great tribulation.
Right, so he's saying after all that, after you see the abomination of desolation, after he tell you, to flee, he said, now we're going to get a great tribulation. So the moral of that story is we ain't found no rapture yet. We ain't left behind. We ain't going nowhere now. We here. We got to deal with this great tribulation. Oh, yeah, we could do that. But go ahead. I'm saying we could read some. I ain't even got no Daniel in here. We could read some of this Daniel 11, because I'm going to tell you right now that, what we started a half an hour late. The lesson probably going to be 2.5 hours long, knowing me, maybe 3. Then when I'm done, I got a whole nother lesson to do in the corner somewhere, because I slept all night yesterday. It was a good sleep, but I sure missed my midnight. I ain't going to lie. I mean, I woke up at like 9 in the morning, like, dang, that was good. I might have put in about 12 hours, for real. But, so I'm going to do that. And then after that, we probably going to go home. You know how it goes. Get dark soon. We have Bible study, you know what I'm saying? If we can manage to get it in with no problem. But I'm not rushing this. That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm getting at. We all know each other. Trust me, you got Bible questions, pick up the phone and call. You know what I'm saying? We could do that. So I'm saying we going to get into the purpose of the reason we have Q&A after the lesson, just so y'all know, is so that we ain't walking around here at the 5 on the side. That's it. I mean, sometimes it be new people call, they got questions, but new people can ask their questions to the person that invited them, really. I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but that's typically what happens. When you get invited by somebody, that person typically answers your question, or they'll say, yo, when we get to church, I'm going to get somebody to get with you that can answer your question. We just offer the Q&A so that, you know, it gives a formal setting to do so. But the reality is, the real reason for doing this so that, the real reason that it actually started was because we was going out of time, and we weren't gonna see them people. That's how it really started, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have nothing to do with what we do here. And like Elijah and Gary, he didn't do Q&A until he realized everybody was doing it. Didn't matter what. Then he was like, yeah, we probably need to pick it up. That was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, right before I moved here. So long story short, I'm just saying that we not rushing today. We gonna dig, we gonna learn, we gonna walk out of here understanding a better level of end time prophecy. So at any rate, going back to Matthew 24 and 21, he said, for then should be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So right now, we're looking at the worst time ever, this great tribulation. So you could think of a bad time on the planet, like you might say for the Germany people, Jews, the Edomites, that's what they are. That was the worst time for them. That ain't the worst time for everybody. He's saying this is going to be the worst time ever, nothing like before. Go ahead, keep reading.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Yeah.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
So he's saying he's shortening them days so that we don't get killed during this great tribulation. Keep reading.
Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Right, so you're going to have all kind of people out here that's going to be with breeding deception and have the skill to even have you believe in it. I'm talking about, and the crazy part, the scary part, brothers and sisters, is this going to be people that come up from amongst us. See, I'm not gonna buy Billy Graham as nothing. You know, Billy Graham with Joel Osteen, somebody like that. I'll be like, man, kick rocks with that. You can't deceive me. You know, there's nothing that Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes even. There's nothing they can say that can deceive me. It say, in verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Meaning, like, it's going to look so good, it's going to question even some of the more intelligent of us. And I'm just telling you that now because how does that start? You know what I'm saying? Like, it start in small pockets, like even today. Where Jakes be out here, you know, they think they know better than the next, you know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, they doctrine way over here somewhere. You're like, yo, where'd that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm saying, but at the same time, you're going to be deceived, and you're going to have people, Israelites following up behind that. But at the end of the day, that's going to lead to your destruction. So he says, for there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Go ahead.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert,
right?
Go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
So look, we gonna see Jesus coming back. So if anybody trying to tell you the Messiah is anywhere, in any type of capacity, it's BS. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to be yelling, BS. And I don't mean it like that. I just say the real word for all I care. But you know what I'm saying? Because he's not nowhere. You're going to bear witness to this man coming back. What verse?
27.
Go ahead.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east,
yes,
and shineth even unto the west,
right,
so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Man, that kills that secret rapture again. For as lightning cometh out of the east. You see lightning when it comes. You see light. I don't care where you at. It light up everything. As long as you outside somewhere, you can tell. I don't care where the lightning be at. You know, as long as it's somewhere in your eyes, you know, your visual. When it hit, bang, you gonna see it. Then he say, for as lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even into the west, that's how you gonna see Jesus. Ain't gonna be no question. So we killing the rapture. Ain't no secret take you nowhere. Where? Anyway? How? Where we going? How long is the trip? Do I need to pack? Do I need to take a lunch? Are we changing flights on Mars somewhere? I mean, I ain't trying to be funny, but I'm just like, yo, you talking about going a long way from here. I mean, you talking about going light years away. Oh, you think that you just gonna disappear today and pop up in the heavens tomorrow? Okay, I see how that works. But that's not what the Bible tells us. What else? Verse what? 28?
28.
Go ahead.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
So much for rapture. It sounds like death. And you trying to escape death. Keep reading.
Immediately after the tribulation.
Rapture, I mean, I know where it started, but that's all about, you ain't got to do nothing. That's what it all boiled back down to. You ain't got to do nothing. God got you. When it get rough. See, when you start seeing about the Great Tribulation, you're going to see something. Matter of fact, let's hold our spot there. Let's go to Daniel 11. I'm going to show you Great Tribulation. Daniel chapter 11. That's I'm like, man, ain't no rapture, man. That's so stupid. Like, what for real? Like, that don't even make sense, bro. You can't even breathe in outer space. Why is you going somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can barely breathe when you reach too high in the sky. Like, why is you trying to go somewhere? Like, you can, man, I put it to you like this. Go live on Mount Everest for a month. See how that work out for you. Then tell me you want to get raptured off somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't even going to be breathing up there. So I doubt if you make it. So the more, and that don't even matter. The whole point is, God made the earth, for real, to be inhabited by us. Let's look at Daniel chapter 11, and let's pick it up in verse 31. We're gonna go back to the Great Tribulation again. Or we're going to go back to the Antichrist again. That's where we're going to start, because he starts the Great Tribulation period. He's bringing the Great Tribulation. We're going to see that when we get to Revelation. Daniel 11, let's pick it up in verse 31. When you get there, go ahead.
And arms shall stand on his part.
That's a military, arms. But go ahead, like the arms race. That's about guns. Go ahead.
And they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice. And they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate.
So notice, even if you don't know nothing, you see abomination that maketh desolate. Didn't we read something about the abomination of desolation? Yeah, we did. Okay. Then it said something about the temple in Matthew. Didn't we see something here about, what did it say? Oh, they should take away a daily, sanctuary of strength. Like, it should be resonating that, we must be kind of on the same thing, if not directly. I'm saying, even if you don't know nothing. But let's look at some more. Keep reading.
And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by flattery.
I'm talking about the Antichrist, but go ahead.
But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits.
But I thought the people that know their God was going to be raptured. It's telling you the people that know their God are going to be strong, meaning the people that know their God, they're going to be standing up and telling you, these folk wicked. They don't know what they're talking about. They're like, nah, we doing it now, to be honest with you. Because I ain't never scared. Y'all want to go get some signs? We can stand in front of the biggest church in America. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And tell her, these folks in here wicked. I mean, I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen, though. We're going to get thrown out. If we put too much of a scene, they're going to put us in jail. I'm just telling you. That's what's going to happen, but I'll go with you.
I'll go with you, sir.
We going to go with me? All right, well, we got to get our ticket. I done did it already. Well, I don't know about in America, but I did the 3 biggest churches in Georgia. I know I have. Stood right out there and got thrown out of all 3 of them. Sure did. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, that's going to be, the one of them was funny. We was at World Changes. That's Creflo Dollar. And it was like about 8, 9 of us in there, man. You know, they got a vestibule bigger than this, you know what I'm saying? And it's everybody out there, we all like trying to like pick people off, trying to spread the gospel, right? So, you know, the book tell you be wise as dove, but wise as serpent, but harmless as dove. So as a crew, we always keep that in mind when we out there, like, yo, we trying to be harmless, but we trying to be wise, right? So we done split the crew up. We done came into the church. Now, first of all, we all caught the bus together. So, I mean, heck, we all really, if you got a camera watching, you seen all of us get off the bus and walk onto your property. But we weren't that smart. So, we walked in slow but steady, like try to spread it out. And then, next thing we out there, we dealing with the people. They start speaking the tongue. We rebuking that. Just a whole bunch of craziness, right? So one by one, though, right? They'll tap you on the shoulder. You got to go. So by the time they got to me, they was like, ain't you with them? And you know me, man. Who is them? What are you talking about? I'm just here for church. I'm just trying to understand this speaking the tongue part. Yeah, you got to go too. I was like, I can't just come to, you've been, like, I'm just saying, them be the good days when you get thrown out. The bad ones when you be running, because that done happen too. Oh yeah, first of all, let me say, it's a young man's game. That I will say. We talking 20 years ago, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in everybody's church all day. I spent my whole Sundays getting up, going to Sunday school, to going to your 6 o'clock church meeting. That's how I would spend my Sundays for about a good 2 years. or about a good year and a half. That's why I say it's a young man's game, because that's all we was out there doing. It was almost 5 days a week, you know what I mean? We didn't care about money. We had enough, I guess, you know what I'm saying? It just was a different world. But I'll run with you, though, you know what I mean? Ain't gonna do nothing but get thrown out. But like you said, and they, verse 33, Daniel 11, he's saying, they that understand amongst the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword and by flame and by captivity and by spoil many days. So look, he's saying you're going to be out there instructing many, but you're going to be facing death, though, doing this. Like, that's what you're going to be faced with. And that's what be tripping me out, because, you know, everybody tough until that, you know what I'm saying, until that real adversity come in your face. And then all of a sudden, you know, you back there in the closet somewhere hiding and peeking through the door to see if they gone. Keep reading, though, verse 34. Because you can see that, Kate. That's how it be, though. But go ahead, verse 34.
Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flattery.
Right, the people gonna still be buying it, because remember we read that they're gonna be deceiving people. He's like, but they're gonna have a little help. We the little help. That's what we are. We the little help. Keep reading, though.
And some of them of understanding shall fall.
Oh, what happened to the rapture to take away the church so that, you know, the Lord, so the church don't have to go through the great tribulation? He was like, nah. He said, man, we gonna be getting tried, and some of them of understanding shall fall. Why is that, bro?
To try them.
And what else?
And to purge.
Oh, and to purge. Because you want to get into the kingdom, but you really ain't fit. You really ain't right. But the Lord looking at you because you a merciful man. That's what you're going to learn about the Bible, is that the Lord, let me tell you a little secret about the Bible, something that I learned. You know who the worst man is that I seen in the Bible? The worst character? I think his name was Ahab. I'm going to say he about the worst character. See, we got somebody that agree. I mean, you might say, well, what about Judas? Okay, that's cool. You can take him. I'm going to run with Ahab. Do you realize that Ahab, the Lord that came to Ahab and told Ahab, he said, man, I'm killing you and anything that pisses against the wall in your house, right? That's how pissed he was at him. Do you realize that Ahab had apologized and repented, and at the end of the day, the Lord said, because this man humbled himself, that's why I'm not going to inflict the damage that I was going to inflict? I'm just trying to get you to understand what humility do, though. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, how the Lord might look at you and see that you humble, even though you ain't necessarily right. You know what I mean? Like, you still be doing whatever issues you got in your brain. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But you humble, and you ask it, and you extended mercy, and you know. Then the Lord got to hold up His end of the bargain. He was like, the meek shall inherit the earth. You know what I'm saying? Blessed are the merciful, so they shall obtain mercy. But just because He uphold his end of the bargain, don't mean that you might have to feel it. So that's what He's telling you. Verse 35, and some of them of understanding shall fall, to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. So again, I'm just showing you that scripture so you understand, like, look, the Lord is redeeming, but we don't see no rapture. We see people getting killed, we see people getting hurt. We do not see somebody leaving off nowhere for somebody else to be left behind. Anyway, let's get back on the subject. Let's go back to Matthew 24 real quick. Matthew chapter 24, we'll finish that out and then we'll head over to Revelation. Matthew chapter 24. The one thing we're going to know here at the Israel Church of Jesus is we're going to know the set of events that's going to jump off when the Lord come back. Today, we're going deeper than that. Like, this easy what we're dealing with right here. You know what I'm saying? We're going to look at this, then we're going to look at the Lord coming back, y'all. We're going to comprehend and see how the Lord is setting up the Father's kingdom before it's all said and done. Y'all going to see, and it's not going to be difficult. Verse 27, Matthew 24 and verse 27. When you get there, go ahead.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
Go ahead.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days,
was the rapture. Go ahead.
Shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light,
right?
And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
Yep.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
See, you gonna see if you ain't see no. Here's something funny too while I'm up here thinking about it. And, you know, like I heard about the rapture in the 80s. That's when I heard about it. You know, that's when started growing up, and you know, I was in my elementary school days during the 80s, you know what I'm saying? And I guess my elementary and middle school days, right? So I was getting old enough to understand something. Now, them same people that was talking that rapture then, though, you know they old now, right? They ain't waiting on the rapture no more. You know what I'm saying? So really, it's like a whole new conversation about it. Because at the end of the day, what you begin to realize is you can wait on it if you want to, but you ain't got nothing, like, it ain't never coming. Like, this is what and when you go look up the origin of it was, I think his name was William Miller, in the mid to early 1800s, like around 1821 or 30 something, somewhere up in there. He said that Jesus was coming back. They was like somewhere like, don't quote me on the exact location, but like somewhere like maybe Nebraska or, going out that way, toward the middle of the, Kansas, somewhere toward the middle of the United States. This is where this took place from. You can research this on your own. I think his name is William Miller. 2 years in a row, this happened. Where they all got out there, you know what I'm saying, and it was like, yo, the Lord's supposed to be coming back, and he ain't come back. So from that's called the Advent movement. That's where your 7-day Adventists come from. That's where your Ellen G. White, 7-day Adventists, and your Jehovah's Witness. Both of them come out that same movement, the Advent movement. But what happened is after 2 years of them doing that, then they started saying, well, he could come back any day and just take us away. And from then on, that's where they come from. But you know what happened to everybody who believed the rapture? They realized by the end of their days, God ain't taking me nowhere. You ask, like, you sit down and talk to some old church lady who's about to die or something, old church man, and be like, so the Lord still rapturing us? He might get mad at you. You know what I'm saying? But they gonna realize we ain't going nowhere. All my friends done died before me, they ain't get raptured. You know what I'm saying? I don't see. So I'm just saying the reality is, when you start looking at it, like, don't nobody really believe that, John. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't never happen. You know what that is? It's just a lack of believing the Bible. It's a lack of reading the Bible. That's all. As you just open up your book, if anybody who ever went to church heard that word, if you just would have said at the end of class, can you read me rapture in the Bible one time? Can you just give me some more information on it? They be like, oh, there ain't no more. They'll take you to Thessalonians when they say, call up to meet the Lord. And really, we could break all that down. We understand it. But I'm just saying, though, but they have made whole, that's why I understand they like the merchants don't wax fat from all this. They done made whole freaking movies based off of this. Anyway, finish this up so we can keep it moving. Did you read 31? No. All right, go ahead, read 31.
And he shall send angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
So that's something else we need to make sure that we pay attention to in today's lesson. That trumpet getting blown. That trumpets get blown, that's about war. That's why when you look on the cartoons or the old movies, they had a bugle out there and they blow that horn. Like I mentioned this before, I'll be watching movies and I'm like, man, y'all got somebody carrying a flag and y'all got somebody carrying the horn. I understand them both. Why? You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, y'all at war. I'm talking about like y'all shooting guns and y'all got, and then let the flag fall. Somebody else got to pick it up. Look, I do not want that job. Your job is the guy that when the flag man die, you got to pick it up and carry it. You know what my question is? So what happens if I get shot? Oh, we got my man behind you for that. Like, I don't want that job. Give me a gun. Give me a musket or whatever y'all got. I don't need the flag or the trumpet. But again, as you look at war, we see they blow trumpets. That's to show you that war is sounding. It's just like we have an alarm now. I be hearing when I first moved to Philly, I was like, what the heck? I thought something was really happening. It's like, nah, that's just the alarm or whatever, the siren going off. I'm like, but you'll hear that. When something go down though, for real, if it's, like if they blow up the White House or something, trust me, you're going to hear that sound all over the place. So again, he says, and he shall send his angel with the great sound of a trumpet. And they should gather. So when the Lord come back, you're going to hear an alarm. And he's going to gather his elect from the four winds of heaven. Let's move over to Revelation chapter 6 now. Revelation chapter 6. And we about to walk up into Armageddon. In order for us to get to Armageddon, we got to get the players, we got to get the adversaries together. Who's going to fight? Because Armageddon, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which means where the Lord going to judge, is where the Lord going to determine man decided they going to determine who's going to take the planet. Is it going to be the east or is it going to be the west? And the Lord going to take it back. and it was all said and done. So we about to build it up. When I say build it up, we about to show you the first player in this battle of Armageddon. Revelation 6, pick it up at verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
So this is the same man of sin that we've been talking about. He's going to go out here and he's going to conquer and be conquering for a short time. But keep reading.
And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Right, so this man going to take peace from the earth. Same person. Ain't going to be no peace in the earth. Go ahead.
And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
Let's go look at the third seal. Go ahead.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
Because this one, he going to have control over something else during this great tribulation period. Go ahead.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
So this dude going to be in control of your food and your purchasing of food. So each one of these seals is representing the same person and it's just telling you what he's doing. The first one, it said it was a king, and it said that he went forth to conquer. The second one, we saw that it said power was given to him to take peace from the earth. Now we see the third of it, it's saying he got control of the money, a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. Let's look at the fourth one, verse 7.
And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of 4 beasts say, Come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with a sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with beasts of the earth.
So when we start talking about, we read in Matthew 24 when it said that, this great tribulation was going to come and it's going to be the worst time ever. Y'all remember reading that, right? All right, well, this is that worst time ever. We ain't never seen nowhere where a third of nothing died. Not even from a plague. You know what I'm saying? Not the third of mankind or something, but this is what we're reading right here. We're reading, it said with the fourth seal, I looked and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth. We ain't never seen the fourth part get destroyed by nothing. And to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and death, and with the beast of the earth. So, this the word, like you gotta place this in that worst time ever, but we have not finished the great tribulation period. That's what we're getting at. This is the tribulation period. Started by this guy at verse 1 and 2. Okay? So now let's jump over to let's jump over to verse 12. Verse 12.
And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal.
So we skipped the fifth seal. The fifth seal was just simply talking about how long is this going to be? When is you going to avenge us of this? Talking to God. But go ahead. The sixth seal, he was like, I opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. And what else?
And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair. And the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth.
Go ahead.
Even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it was rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
It's one of the great mysteries of the whole world. Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every freeman hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
Right, because what happened is at this sixth seal, we saw the Lord came back. Now, he didn't come back and do everything yet. Like, he going to step foot on Mount Olives. Like, it's war when he come back. But one of the greater mysteries that people don't understand is that the Lord coming back before the end of, before the last day of planet, the last day of this age. Let's use that word. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say this age, where we on World Wide Web, where we got Italy and France and, Germany and Britain and America, this way, the way our modern civilization. The Lord will infiltrate, he will break the sky open during our civilization and sit there. And we got to expect, our civilization is going to try to figure out how to deal with that. Not us. We already know who it is. We're going to be like, that's Jesus. I ain't dealing with it no way. You know what I'm saying? But the rest of the world, they're going to be trying to figure out how. That's why when you got to verse 15, it says, and the kings of the earth and great men and rich men and chief captains and mighty men and every bondman and every free man, they hid themselves. Why they hide? Because this dude is here. This guy is here. But this is what leads us up to Armageddon, though. Because he's here. And so not only is that, and not only is that you had this Antichrist that took the peace away from the earth, reality is he gonna bring a false peace to the earth. He controlling your money, he controlling everything. He's the king of the earth. So he got an issue with my man coming back. And he got an issue with what the rest of the world doing that's not riding with him. The same people who ain't been riding with the other guys, which is Russia. Russia always, and China too, but Russia be the one that matter. And when I say they be the one that matter, because they could choose, they always in a position of picking sides. And they could pick the side of the Europeans and they never do. You know what I'm saying? They picked it during World War II, but that was only because they was going up against Hitler. Otherwise, because right after that, Russia was like, oh no, we won't have nothing to do with y'all after that. And it started what we call the Cold War. So it wasn't like he was coming up against Europe. He was coming up against, he been coming up against Europe, Russia had. He was coming up against Germany, just like Russia was coming up against Napoleon 100 years before all of that. Russia always, that's why he called the bear. You know what I'm saying? You do your homework on him, man, them some wild people up there and they don't never lose. Like Napoleon, the coldest military dude that I've seen in modern history, and he gets up there, he might as well cry the baby because they burnt the city down and backed up. Now, that's the sweetest way to win ever. You come to destroy my house and you get to my crib and I already destroyed it for you. But me and my family done moved to the house down the street and we looking at you laughing at you. While you got to pick up the ashes. You see what I'm saying? That's what Russia do. So at any rate, let's go to Revelation chapter 8. Revelation chapter 8. So that's the players as we walk toward this Armageddon. It's going to be Europe against really Russia and their allies. America, we is Europe, y'all. America was made by Europe. Look at the first wars in America. What we had, what's that saying? The British are coming, right? Okay, so we was fighting them, right? And then what's the next one? The French Revolution, we had the War 1812. You know what I'm saying? And really, we was fighting against what? The French did, right? So we done fought the British and the French in this land. You know what I'm saying? And really the Spanish. We done fought everybody in this land. Why? Because they made us. And all we doing is having temper tantrums trying to get away from mama and dad. That's what that is. You know, the Boston Tea Party, what they say, taxation without representation. Right. Y'all ain't getting to say a word when you're in your mama house, so you about to go buy your own. That's what America does. Like I'm saying, if you look at it in a practical term, like they made us, everybody over here, like New York, that's European. You know what I'm saying? Like Philadelphia, stuff like that. These names that we got, you know what I'm saying? Why you think we calling them New Orleans and New something? Because it was an old one over there. Georgia. You know, the Georgia run the original 13 colonies, right? It's a country over there. That's been called Georgia. So what I'm saying is they made us. So we ain't, like I said, we ain't nothing but the sun. That's all America. Let me tell you how much America is the son of Europe. You realize that the reason we're called the United States of America is because Europe was separate. You understand what I'm saying? Each state, like it wasn't like France and Spain and Portugal, like they were states. They were all separate states or countries. So here they said, nah, we gonna be united. Not like New Orleans be a whole country of its own, which would have been French. Or, you know, not like Pennsylvania gonna be a whole country of its own, which probably would have been, what, who started Pennsylvania? No, the Quakers, right? Dutch, right? They Dutch? I don't know what they are. But that's what we would have been though. We would have been the Quaker state, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the heck because I can't, the Puritans or whatever. Yeah, so they could have been, I don't know, but you're probably right. But the point that we getting at is, that's what America is. You know what I'm saying? Like America is the melting, again, Europe made us. So we're a part of them. All right, so Armageddon is about who gonna rule the world when you're gonna have Europe and his allies, and they're gonna come up against Russia and her allies. That's what Armageddon is. So we about to walk into that now. So we're gonna go ahead and do Revelation chapter 8 and pick it up at verse 1. And when you get there, go ahead.
And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God.
Right.
And to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer.
Now remember, we talked about the trumpets in Matthew 24. Matthew 24 is the chapter about the Lord coming back. Remember I said, make sure you check for this trumpet. We started talking about war and stuff like that. So now we got the seventh seal, which is going to introduce the trumpets. The last trumpet is the resurrection of the dead. And we ain't gonna read the seven trumpets today per se, but we're gonna read through these trumpets. Because each one of these trumpets, 1 through 6, the sixth trumpet is Armageddon. So each one of these trumpets is walking us to the coming of the Lord. Seventh trumpet will be the resurrection. So go ahead. What verse are we at?
Verse 3.
All right, go ahead, verse 3.
And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne.
Go ahead.
And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the...
Let's skip to verse 6. Okay.
And the seventh angels, which had the seven trumpets, prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And there were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up.
All right, so look, when the first trumpet came, we see here the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire. Remember, we was reading very early today, before the lesson really started. And we went to Job, right? And I said, yo, the Lord even got hell on reserve, waiting for a particular day. Here you go. That's what it's waiting for. So now the Lord is here right now. When I say he's here, he hasn't touched foot on Mount Olives yet. Understand that. But he's here. We can see him in the sky. You know what I'm saying? We like, yo, there you go. You know, there go my mans in them. You know what I'm saying? We geeked about it. You know what I'm saying? But still, he here. And now the trumpets, each one of these trumpets, or this particular trumpet, 1 and 2, these are wraths or vials of wrath that's coming from God. He showed up at the sixth seal. The seventh seal introduced the trumpets. The trumpets now are the wrath that God is putting on the earth. What do you have to compare it to? Go back to Egypt. God put wrath on the earth then, or on the Egyptians. Like one of the wrath that he put on, it rained. It was raining hell then too, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken, we can go back and look at them now, but I'm sure we don't want to do that today. Huh? There you go. It's like what, about 80 pounds or something stupid, 70 pounds? Yeah, something stupid. Like when I say something stupid, like, man, please don't do nothing like that again. Like because imagine right now if you got snowball coming out the sky 80 pounds. You can't even hide in your car. Man, poke Cadillac. Don't you got the rag top too? Poke thing. That's what I'm saying. Like it ain't gonna make it. Ain't nowhere for you gonna have to be in somebody's basement in order to run. And that's why man gonna be tripping from the Lord, because the Lord, he got stuff that man can't handle that. What you gonna be in your window shooting hell at 80-pound balls of hell? Let's see how good that works. I want to see how with your little, your 30 slug that's coming in your shotgun. I want to see what that do to that 80-pound, 70-pound ball of hell. Wait a minute, not thrown from one room to the other. It's coming out the sky. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, all right, you can think you can hit that if you want to. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead. What verse?
Verse 8.
Yeah, go ahead. We can do 8.
And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood.
So this is the worst time ever. That's all I'm really trying to show you. Stuff like this ain't never happened before. It's all going to come once the Lord, and when I say once the Lord returns, I want you to understand that when I speak of the return of the Lord, in this case, I'm saying that his return is a whole event that started with the sixth seal. Not the actual last day. Like the last day, we're going to read the last day. But it actually is, he came back, because we're going to see, when he come back, we're going to be able to count at least 5 months. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it's not, but he's already here, though. But, it depends on how we hold the conversation. Because if I say, well, when the Lord coming back? Well, I'm going to be like, yeah, he coming back at the end. Because he ain't coming back tomorrow. He still got more time left. He coming back after the Great Tribulation. I'm going to assume you mean coming back to take over the earth to set up his kingdom. When is he doing that? Now, if you want to know when is he going to crack the sky, I'm going to be like, oh, well, that might be 5-6 months before it's all over. That's another conversation. I just want you to understand that the Lord is going to come back, crack the sky, come back, and it's going to be like a movie. And the mankind gonna be sitting there trying to AK his butt out the sky or whatever we do to the aliens that be coming into the planet, and it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna be trying everything for a few months, and then finally the Lord gonna be like, my turn. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be a wrap. It ain't gonna take him days, months, or nothing. It's gonna be that day. So all the other time, like we rain some stuff out the sky, that's him too, but I'm saying, nah, when it's all said and done, when he ready to kick butt, trust me, he kicking everybody butt, taking names, he ain't taking no names, grabbing people, putting them in jail. You'll see, we're going to get all that today. So let's jump down to chapter 9, though. You can look at those trumpets on your own, but we're not doing a trumpet lesson today, although it's a part of it. We doing the wars, and we now need to get to Armageddon. And Armageddon is going to really start at chapter 9 because we got to get the armies together because Armageddon is about a war that's going to take place between two armies. All right? So go ahead, Revelation chapter 9 and pick it up at verse 1. And when you get there, go ahead and read.
And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
So we had the fifth trumpet. And he said that this angel at the fifth trumpet opened up a bottomless pit. There arose smoke out of this pit. Now you got to understand something. This is all what John see, too, also. You have to understand that. John don't know what nothing 2020 possibly look like. If you handed John a cell phone, he ain't gonna know what to do with that. You know what I'm saying? He might try to eat off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, right, that's what I'm saying. He might, especially with flip phone, he might, oh, it's flip. Oh, let me see what happens with, I'm just saying, you don't know what the heck, right, that's what I'm saying. You just don't know what they think nothing is. So he gonna do it the best job possible of describing what he sees. It's up to us with the experience to recognize what you're reading about. So let's check it out. Verse 3, go ahead.
And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
All right, so now, out of this smoke came locusts. Now look, I'm going to tell you, these ain't regular grasshoppers. These ain't regular locusts. Like when I say they're not regular locusts, look, the Lord done plagued the world with locusts before, and he could do it again, and it is quite effective. But here, he on something else. These locusts that we're going to see, these is war machines. I'm going to prove it, though. Keep reading.
And unto them was given power, and the scorpions of the earth have power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their forehead.
We didn't read that, but in Revelation chapter 7, the Lord said, before he had these angels and they was holding back the four winds of heaven, he said, before y'all do anything, before we let this wrath come out, we need to make sure that we seal these people over here in the wilderness. See, that's what I'm saying. We ain't got no tribulation. We ain't got no rapture. The Lord's sealing people. He got them protected. He don't need to take you. Y'all act like God is like clumsy or something. Like he gonna be like, oops, my bad. I ain't have you up here with me, so I made a mistake and killed you while I was trying to kill Europe or something. Like, that's stupid. He got you. So he's saying, I'm going to seal everybody who need to be sealed. And now, when these military plans come out, he say, look, if they got the seal, don't hurt. Go ahead. What verse?
Verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months.
So understand what's going on right now. We at trumpet number 5. Remember, the sixth seal was when the heavens rolled back and really the Lord came back to the earth. But he didn't touch foot on the earth. Okay? Now, we see each one of these trumpets, and we are on the 5th trumpet. And what we're reading about the 5th trumpet, which takes place after the seals, which means that the Lord is here, but not touching foot on the earth. He's here, but he's ready to do what he got to do. We got at least 5 months worth of time. So the best thing I like to do when we talk about it is just think about the movies. Whenever they have invaders, like they'll never win the battle day one. You know what I'm saying? Like matter of fact, the first thing they be trying to figure out is this an enemy, right, or a friend? You know, they be trying to see if he's out. But trust me, they gonna know before long. Shoot this guy. That's what they gonna shoot this dude out the sky. That's what they gonna be thinking. But it ain't gonna work. Ain't no nuclear missiles handling Jesus. All right. Well, so at any rate, he said this is 5 months, and verse 5. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was the torment of a scorpion when it striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Go ahead.
And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle.
Yeah.
And on their heads were, as it were, crowns like gold. And their faces were as the faces of men.
Go ahead.
And they had hair as the hair of women.
That's what I'm saying. These ain't regular locusts. These ain't grasshoppers. Go ahead.
And their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were, breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, we're talking about warplanes, helicopters. He calling them locusts because if you don't know what the heck a helicopter is, what you do know is that it started right here and it went straight up and it popped straight back down. It had fire coming out its tail, shooting you. You know, so the sound of it that you hear sound. Well, you can't say it sounds like a car motor, but you can sure say it sounds like a whole bunch of horses, though. Which, by the way, that's what they call. That's how they rate the power on the car anyway, horsepower. You know what I'm saying? Because that's ultimately where the power originated from. You know what I'm saying? How much horsepower is that? The power of one horse, the power of two horses, the power like a lawnmower. Where they say like 4 horsepower sometimes. That's the same thing as a man with a carriage with 4 horses up there. That's the same power and force that lawnmower has. So when a car has 200 horsepower, that's saying they got 200 horses. Like it's the equivalent of 200 horses. So he's saying when he describing the helicopters, he like, yo, I hear it like it sound like horses. Because it's the propeller, the motor, all of that. But go ahead, what else? What verse?
Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And they had tails like unto scorpions.
Uh-huh.
And there were stings in their tails. And their power was to hurt men 5 months.
Go ahead.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue his name is Apollyon.
All right, so check this out. So we see a whole army, and their king is Satan. All right, we got to pay that some attention. The king of this army is said here is verse 11. They had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. So that's how you know we ain't got no king over the bugs. I mean, I know they say he like Lord of the Flies and Beelzebub, but that ain't what this about. But he's saying, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. That's Satan. So Satan is over everybody that's dealing with the 5th trumpet. Now, the reason I'm trying to do that is because we're getting Armageddon together. And Armageddon is 2 militaries coming against each other. We just read one. We didn't read the other, but we about to. Let's go to Joel chapter 2. We about to go find the other one. What up, 12? One woe is past? No, we'll read it when we get back. Because we coming back to it, so we'll read it when we get back. But thank you. Joel chapter 2. So we just saw one army right there. Okay? And in order for us to have a war, we got to have at least 2 armies. Now, we saw the Lord coming back. But you see, they can't do nothing with the Lord. They like hide me from him. You know, really at the end of the day, they ain't trying to fight Jesus right now. We're going to see what happens next, though. Joel chapter 2, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Don't worry, this is one of them. So I know y'all looking at the paper like, we got a long way to go. Don't worry, move quicker as we go on. The hard stuff be at the beginning. You know what I mean? But Joel chapter 2, and pick it up at verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion.
All right, stop. There we go. We got a trumpet again. You know what I'm saying? We done had a trumpet in Matthew 24. We done had the trumpets in Revelation. Now we got the trumpet in Joel chapter 2. We're going to blow the trumpet in Zion. What else?
And sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Sound familiar. We saw that again. Go ahead.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble.
Yeah.
For the day of the Lord cometh. For it is night at hand.
Right. So look, get that. We still on the coming of the Lord, right? That's what the opening verse is about. This is how you know you sticking with the subject. This is how you know you learning the Bible properly. Go ahead.
A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains.
Yes, sir.
A great people and a strong. There have not been ever the like. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations.
Go ahead.
A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth.
Yep.
The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
So with this army, it's just saying, as it's taking this way to set up, shoot, everything that it walk across is destroying it. This next army we looking at. Before it could be like Edom. Behind it, it's like destruction. He said the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses and horsemen, so they shall run. Verse 5.
Like the noise of chariots on the tops of the mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array.
Right, so we got a war coming on, but again, remember, we went all the way back to verse 1 where it says, blow you the trumpet in Zion, sound and alarm my holy mountain, let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord coming. So we all the way in the future at the day of the Lord. Go ahead, what verse?
Verse 6. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness.
Keep reading.
They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war.
Yeah.
And they shall march every one of his ways. And they shall not break their ranks.
So this military, when they say they should march every one of his ways and they should not break their rank, the first thing I always think of when I see that be the Japanese, the Chinese, and the Germans. Like I just think the picture come up of how they show us the way they would be out there marching. Like they don't show us doing that. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like it don't matter. It seemed like you could walk up on one of them and punch him in the face, and everybody else just gonna keep walking, and he just got like that's what it seemed like. You know what I'm saying? Like it seemed like that, like as a unit, they ain't nothing stopping what they own, and that's what it's. I'm just saying what comes to my mind. The army that it's talking about is the Russian Chinese army. That's what he's talking about right here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying. When I think of it, I think of those particular type of armies. When because they show those pictures, they show us the propaganda of those pictures of those armies. But what verse are we at?
Verse 8.
Go ahead.
Neither shall one thrust another.
Yeah.
They shall walk every one in his path.
Yeah.
And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
They basically just saying you can't even beat this army. But keep reading.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
Keep reading.
The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark. And the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Keep reading.
And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army.
Wait a minute. So we had Satan's army when we first started in Revelation. And now all of a sudden he just called this his army. Now look here. We ain't at the resurrection, so we know we ain't talking about, you know how the song go, I'm in the Lord's army, you know what I'm saying? Like how we gonna be in his army. Like we can see that. That's in Psalms. That's another army. We ain't got there yet. We still dealing with people, and he called them his army because they're serving his purpose. And the purpose is to come up against the people we just read about in Revelation. I'm trying to show you where we get both players from. Now somebody asked me during the week, by the way, how do we know that this is Gog and Magog? If you notice, I didn't say that. I'm not going to say it when we get to the sixth trumpet either. Now, but who is Gog and Magog? That's a better question that I'm going to present to some of us elders. Gog and Magog is Meshach. That's the land, Meshach. You know what I'm saying? But really, in reality, it's the land of Midian. It's the land of the Medes. That's where Gog and Magog come from. So where is the land of the Medes? It's east of Jerusalem. Who runs east of Jerusalem? China, Russia, all of that. So what I'm saying is, anyway, because again, the question came to me this week. How do we prove? This is what the question was. That Joel 2 is talking about Gog and Magog. I'm like, I ain't gotta prove it. I mean, when I say that, I ain't say that because really we were chopping it up. But I'm saying we don't have to prove it. So why do people say that? By the time we're done with the lesson, we'll learn why people say that. Because Gog and Magog is in the Bible. You remember y'all was in algebra, took an algebra class, and the algebra teacher would say, make sure you show me how you got your work. You couldn't just walk in class and be like X equals 5, like that's right. Like I got the answer right. Nah, you ain't show me no work. Well, years ago, when we were learning the Bible, we as a unit of people misread Gog and Magog in Ezekiel 37 and 38. We're gonna look at it today as if the events that we read parallel to this, but they don't. But what we are going to learn is although you got the right answer, your procedure was inaccurate. That's what we learned in the day. So when I say that we got the right answer, it's still all the battles gonna still be the same. It's still the same players. But for us to say we prove all things, trust me, I did my homework on it. Gog and Magog is only in the Bible, in Revelation and in Ezekiel. That's it. Now, like I said, Meshesh and some of the other names that go with it, but still, all in all, it does not tell you that this is Gog and Magog. It does not tell you this is Russia and China. It does not say that when you read this. But at the same time, who else is it? Now, when the Lord come back, we're going to see Gog and Magog. Now, we can prove that Gog and Magog is Russia and China. We're going to still see they alive. So then, where'd they come from? You know what I'm saying? They had to make it through. They had to make it through the tribulation in order for them. We're going to get there. Y'all going to understand what I'm saying by the time we're done. They're going to have to make it through tribulation for us to see them in the end. So then, where did they come from? Because it was the Lord's army. Don't worry. We're going to put the pieces together. It ain't nothing new to us. Like when I say to us, we've been teaching it the same way around here. But what I'm saying is that we would say this is Gog and Magog. That's an accurate statement. This army is. How'd you figure that out, though? That's the inaccurate part. But we got a better way of figuring it out now, so we don't have to be inaccurate in proving it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? By going somewhere that don't mean that. Because if I ask you, Stan, prove to me this is Gog and Magog right here, you're going to go probably to Ezekiel 37 and 38. That's the only way you can go. That's the only place Gog and Magog is. But that ain't proving this, though. That's all I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying? But don't worry. Don't worry. I don't need nobody to worry. We ain't changing up nothing. It's all still the same. I'm just trying to talk to everybody in the room. All right? So he said, verse 10, and the earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong and executed his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who should be able to abide? So now let's go back to Revelation chapter 9. Revelation chapter 9. Revelation chapter 9. And now we're going to pick up that sixth trumpet. The sixth trumpet, at verse 13. So the fifth trumpet, again, was an army that we read about. But then we jumped over to Joel chapter 2 because we made sure that we indicated in the fifth trumpet that you had an army that was led by Satan. So that we don't get the two confused. So that somebody can't say, well, how come this ain't the same army in Joel chapter 2? Nope, because in Joel chapter 2, it said that this was the Lord's service. So that's two different armies. You can't be both now. All right, so Revelation chapter 9, verse 13. When you get there, go ahead.
And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
Right.
And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month.
So look, I need you to understand something, and some of y'all might even have maps on the back of y'all Bibles, but the Euphrates is always the same place, same time, throughout history. Ain't nobody ever moved the Euphrates. We never hold a conversation in the scientific world, archaeologist world, geographical world of where the Euphrates is. So he's saying that this river dried up from the Euphrates. Now, if you look at your maps, any map that you see, let me see if I can name one that's in my Bible that should be in many of them. But I don't know. I'm looking at a Mediterranean, I'm looking at maps of the region. You know what I'm saying? The whole Middle East region. And just so y'all know, if you're looking at your paper from left to right, the Euphrates will be to your right, always. And it's going to be at the top, north, right. That's where the Euphrates is. But for us to have fun, and I could have, trust me, I could have gave y'all maps and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't want to do that because I want you to be able to do this on your own. But you can simply take your phone and type up Euphrates if you want to. And then once that happens, what I'm trying to get you to understand is the Euphrates River, Tigris Euphrates River, is the river that's really dividing that part of, that's the river that's dividing the Gentile. If you on the west side of the Tigris Euphrates, you rocking out with the Europeans. If you on the east side of the Tigris Euphrates, you either rocking out with the Muslims or you rocking with Russia and China. That's what, so you got the Christian world on one side, and then you got the other world on the other side. And these are the two that's coming up to battle. Because, again, the Pope said, you don't see nowhere in history where the Confucius is like, so what did the Pope say? Or what did the church say? You don't even pull back real quick. They really did. They pulled back real quick. But at any rate, what verse where are we at?
Verse 14.
All right,
15.
back to 9 and 14. When you get there, read that verse again.
Mm-hmm. Saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
So we're going to loose the angel of the Euphrates. Go ahead.
And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them.
All right, so we got this army coming up. Now, this ain't the same army from earlier in this chapter, whose head was Apollyon or Abaddon. This army right here, though, is the army we was reading in Joel. So he says here, and they coming from that side. They saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. The 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. The number of the army of horsemen were 200,000. And I heard a number of them. So what's 200,000? That's like what? 200 million. There you go, 200 million. That's the army that we, look, ain't no army even big enough to touch that right now unless you take China and Russia and they allies and put them together. We ain't got no army like that. Just telling you something. Keep reading, what verse?
Verse 17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth.
Yeah, I know, right? Some precious material, like a gem or something. You know what I mean?
Okay. And brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone.
So again, you just seeing though. You seeing again that it's another military, but we didn't already cover one. There you go. That's what it looked like. It's kind of dope too, ain't it? Make you want one now, don't it? Go ahead, what verse? I was just showing him with that justice stone. Yeah, iris. It's like an oranges brown or something. They nice looking stones. But go ahead, what verse are we at? Oh, we finished? No, we just read 18 first, y'all. Or no, we done with that. Yep, Jeremiah 50. We'll come back to that. Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah chapter 50. So again, like I said, those were 2 different armies, but Joel chapter 2 covered that army with the 6th trumpet. Now we'll finish that up though, because we're not done with the 6th trumpet. Because we still got to find Armageddon in itself. Jeremiah chapter 50, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1 through 9. And when y'all get there, go ahead and read.
The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet.
See, I like the way the Lord be doing this. He said, I'm speaking against Babylon and the land. So so we can use either one when we want to discuss this. We ain't always got to be looking for a player. You know what I'm saying? So he talking to Babylon here, and again, Babylon, not only Babylon today is Rome. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you look at how Babylon started off, it started off as Babylon. Then the Medes and the Persians took over Babylon. Then from there, Alexander the Great. And each time though, they took over the same land, plus they increased upon it. So Alexander the Great was bigger. You know what I'm saying? But then Alexander the Great was the biggest, basically, split it into 4. Then after we split his kingdom into the world we're talking about. Parts of Africa, India, Europe, Asia, all this, all this stuff. Alexander the Great conquered it, split it into 4, and then Rome came out of that. Then Rome fell, I don't know, like maybe 1,000 years after that. Rome fell about 400, anywhere from about 3 to 500 AD. That's when Rome fell. Because really by the time 600 AD come around, 700 AD, when the Muslims hit the scene, Rome as a nation is over with, which is smart by the Lord. Because he brought it back through the Holy Roman Empire. And you see it resurrect itself. It's still Babylon, but you see it resurrect itself when you look up names like Charlemagne and you see what he ruled. He's going to say he ruled the Holy Roman Empire. Not Rome and not the Catholic Church. They ain't going to call that. It's not going to call it Babylon. It's going to say the Holy Roman Empire. Oliver the Great. You're going to see that with him too. Charles V. These are people that rule, and they rule in the banner of, or the flag, which I learned what the flag's about too. Flags, anybody know why countries have flags? The flag is a representation of your people. So you have a flag, like if I got a flag right here in my hand, it's like I'm not by myself. It's me and everybody that stand under this banner of a flag. So I'm just letting you know what stuff means, you know what I'm saying? But at any rate, long story short, let's just get back to this. I think we got enough. We can get back to this. Go ahead, Jeremiah 50:1.
The word of the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet.
What are you going to say to him? I was saying how this is still wrong. Right. So then it resurrected itself. Same land, Babylon, just really same types of people. The Gentile. It just came through different people. And even today now, Babylon exists as the as the Holy Roman Catholic Church, or whatever you want to call it, the Holy Catholic Church, the Universal Church, whatever the heck you want to call it, the biggest organization on the planet. That's what I call it. But go ahead. So that's Babylon today. So he said the word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldean by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Mordek is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Verse 3, go ahead.
For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her.
Oh, so look, when Babylon get destroyed, which is wrong, it's saying out of the north is going to come a nation against her. So when you start understanding what Babylon is, Babylon sits in the Middle East. Who coming out of the north to destroy Babylon? Russia. That's who's north of Babylon. We're talking about the land. That's who's north of the land. And he's saying, well, as we read, that's why I say we can find other ways to prove this, who the people are. We can prove it accurately. He said, out of the north, somebody going to come and destroy them. Go ahead, keep reading.
Which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days, and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping.
Just how you know we talking future. He said the children of Judah and the children of Israel. Just saying. This wasn't when Babylon got beat. He's taking it further than just Babylon. Keep reading.
Going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Keep reading.
All that found them have devoured them. And their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers.
Go ahead, verse 8.
Remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the goats before the flocks.
Keep reading.
For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country.
Again, I'm just trying to show you, like when you start talking about, so who's because we walking to Armageddon. So one thing that you got to understand is, in the end, Babylon still exists. Like Babylon exists today. Matter of fact, we are in Babylon right now. Not just America. Trust me, America, again, we a made country. They made us. I'm talking about the whole Europe, Africa, North and South America. This all about right there. Cause